Hey, Loco football fans, Justin Jarrett here, flying solo at the outset while we wait on Wes to free himself up. It's a busy day. It is football Christmas for us. This is one of our favorite days of the year. We get to cover high school football tonight out in force. We get to be out there with y'all, watching the game we're at, keeping track of all the games that are going on around the Loco, and then coming back here at 11 o'clock tonight to make sense of everything, round up all the scores, stats, and highlights that we can get together by then and just hang out together and talk about what happened and what it all means as we go through this journey that kind of becomes a novel over the course of a season or a chapter, I guess, in a novel that's been written for years and years and years. And there's so many threads common threads that go through there, and we get to see the people come and go and see them year after year out there at the football game. So it is a great time of year. We're excited to see y'all out there. Say hello to us if we're out at the game. Wes Kerr will be jumping on with me here in a little bit, as well as Marcus Walsh from WHHI. And speaking of the devil, I think Wes is on his way in right now. I heard the door opening. We're going to get him in here in just a minute. But Wes, what is up, buddy? You're back from DC just in time for the big day. It's football night in the Lowco, and this is Lowco game day. We're getting ready for kickoff tonight, so we'll go through all the games with you. I think this might become an accidental thing that we do this on Fridays every day around lunchtime, every week around lunchtime, and we were talking about it this morning. We kind of backed ourselves into it today, but I like the concept because I'm much more prepared to talk about these games on Friday than I am on Tuesday or Wednesday when I've had time to chat with people and do some research and things like that. So I like the idea of us doing this every Friday at lunchtime and getting everybody ready for kickoff. If they can't join us during the lunch break, sneak around and listen to us then. They can do it on the way to the game.
Yeah, I mean, it works great as a preview show when you're driving to the football field, or if you get that lunch break and have a chance to join us. But I think it's a great idea to do it now. We get a little bit more time to prepare and do some research to get ready for these games, because there's a lot that goes into doing all that we need to do to get ready to cover these matchups. And wow, what a week zero we have ahead of us. A lot of local matchups and a lot of other intriguing games throughout the area, with especially look at Beaufort Academy coming off that first victory in week -1. They're taking a very good time with prep team Hilton and Battery Creek, albeit that's the all-local game. I'm really, really excited to see how that one goes. Tough test for HHCA against Painted Christian. So a lot of fun matchups on the schedule to start season, and that's what we want to see as a local football fan.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. And our guy Justin from out in Hampton County, I saw him, he retweeted the Lowco Friday night graphic earlier and said, man, there's a lot of good matchups tonight. And it really is. Sometimes in that first week, it's kind of, there's a lot of lopsided matchups one way or the other. And just not a lot lot at stake, but we got some good Lowco on Lowco battles, which are, when you're playing somebody from up the road, it always means a little bit, regardless of what it means as far as region standings and things like that. So, we got some great matchups tonight. I will be at one of them, and we'll launch here into our games of the week, and then we'll have Marcus Walsh come on in a bit and talk about the WHHI game of the week that he'll be covering tonight. But I'm headed out to Colleton. I'm headed out to the borough for this Border Bowl, and they got championship belt. They got a logo. They're doing it up right. Kinlock is hyping this thing up, and I hope he's not getting himself set up for a hustle here, because Hampton's pretty good. I think Hampton's the better team here tonight, but I'm really excited to see what Kinlock puts out there too, and just see that energy that he's brought to that program. I think it's at a high for as long as we've been covering that program. So it's really exciting there. And of course, we get to see how they put the pieces together over at Hampton and what it all looks like with that mosaic of Wade Hampton and Estill coming together. So it's going to be an awesome game. I'm really looking forward to it. And starting off with who's under center for the Hurricanes. That's going to be fun to see.
Yeah, it will be a surprise. Maybe we'll see what happens if it's Xavier Garvin or Chris Terry. Either one certainly capable of taking the reins under center. Or we can maybe see a mix of both of them. We'll see what happens, and interesting to see who takes up the first series. But we'll see if they kind of alternate guys or basically, ride the hot hand sometimes. You see that sometimes. You see that when guys having a good run at quarterback. So I'm interested to see how it works out on offense, and it's an emotional game for both sides. Of course, Hampton County, first game in program history. Colleton County, a lot that they went through over the offseason to get ready for this year. First one for Adam Kinlock. They've got some really high energy heading into this game. So, and then you have that that border geographical rivalry. You even got a championship belt for the winner of this game. So there's a lot on the line here. Obviously, you want to start 1-0, but you want to make a good statement if you're Hampton County. And for Colleton, you want to prove that this year is going to be a step up and it's going to be different than what we've seen. And I think Adam Kinlock's going to have his team ready for this one, but this will not be an easy first game for the Cougars. Hampton County bring with itself a loaded group on really on both sides of the ball. You got Mandrell Sanders on defense, and then I mentioned some of those offensive playmakers, but then you got Zion Dobson. You got Kava Chisholm on the line. So there's going to be a lot for Colleton to look out for throughout this ball game, and they're going to have to be on their best if they want to hang with the Canes.
Yeah, and I mean, that was a competitive game last year. Colleton hung with them most of the game. So, I don't think it's a tremendous mismatch. Don't get me wrong. I just happen to think that Hampton's going to be really good this year, and I think that they're going to be really good out of the gate because I've just seen up close, and not up close, I guess, but I've gotten to understand what Rob Hanna's about and what how he runs his program, and he is detail oriented, and they do things the way they do things, and I think that they're going to come into this season highly prepared based on what I've seen from them, and I think the Kinlock era is going to be good at Colleton, but I think that Hampton's going to be a little bit better prepared tonight, and just a little bit better football team right now. If they played again, at the end of the season, who knows? But I think it's exciting for both teams. I think it's really exciting for both fan bases, and we've got the start of a new tradition. How often do you get to say that in 2023? I mean, that's kind of cool. So this should become a thing that is a big deal game every year, and I think it will be. And I'm excited to be part of the first one. I mean, that's always cool to be there for the first one. And then, we've got another. I'm going to drive right past a game I'd love to stop and watch that you'll be at, which is Hilton Head High at Battery Creek, and I think that one's got the makings to be a really competitive matchup as well. And we're both really high on Creek, but yet we both picked the Seahawks. So I guess that says a little bit about how we feel about the Seahawks too.
Yeah, I have high hopes for this BJ Penn coach team. I really like Jackson Bybee. I think he's grown a lot as a passer. He made some dynamite throws last year under center. And of course, Troy Timko's a dog. He was an absolute stud running back. Just the power that he showed to, break tackles and keep his balance and just pick up those extra yards. That's going to be huge, especially if you can get those good carries on first down, second down. Then you got Shake Thompson on the other end, who we all know about him now. We don't really know much about him a year ago when these two teams played, but he definitely broke out. And taking back to that last game to begin the season. Actually played on Saturday because it got rained out, but Saturday afternoon scorcher. Battery Creek hung in there in that game.
Sure did. Damian had a long run.
Yeah, that was a game where Freeman started under center because their starting quarterback got hurt. Now we're going to see Chase Olson, new starter for the Battery Creek Dolphins, and I'm excited. A lot of hype surrounding Olson. I like what I've seen from him so far during the preseason, and they've got some veterans: Leroy Titus, Juju Gordon, Donnie Brown. They've got a good amount of skill position weapons out there that Olson can hook up with. So, and of course, Damian Freeman. I mean, he is a big play machine. The moves that he makes at running back and the agility out there, he was really impressive from what I saw. To have him in the backfield and then to have Chase Olson, who is calling shots under center, I'm excited to see what this offense can do. I think Hilton's going to be a big test for them, though, especially with Thompson and Connor Wendell, who's been a kind of an underrated star over there for BJ Payne's defense.
Yeah, you say there's a lot of hype around Olsen. He's created a little bit of him himself, I mean, which I like. I like the swagger. He's putting the clips out there and he's saying, you ain't seen nothing yet, like he's got a little swagger to him. And I think you have to have that to play quarterback, at any level. I think you just have to have that belief that I'm the guy you want with the ball in my hands, and I'm going to do something with it.
I can say it can go both ways. It can go positively. It can also go the other way.
100%. But I do think you have to have a little bit of that in you, and I'm glad to see that he does. And he'll get knocked down off his pedestal a time or two this year, but he'll, if he's got what I think he's got, he'll get back up and use it to get better. So, I'm excited that he gets the reins and gets to develop into that job. And man, there's no substitute. We're going to see it at Beaufort, but there's no substitute for having a quarterback who gets thrown into the fire and survives. And then you get him for a couple more years. I mean, that's special stuff that you can really build a team around. So I like Olsen over there. I love Damian Freeman. I think they have some real talent on defense at all levels. With some of the guys you mentioned, Leroy Tyus is just relentless on the line. Naquan Gordon, Juju Gordon is, he's an impressive athlete. Donye Brown as well. I mean, Nick Underwood, we haven't really mentioned, but he was outstanding for them last year as a freshman. So they've got a lot of talent, but, I think that Hilton Head is poised to have one of its stronger teams in recent memory. Just because that continuity. I mean, they've got so many of their key guys back. Obviously, you lose guys year to year, but you look at the guys they do have back and the spots they're in, and I think it sets them up to be pretty successful. So, and BJ, he's kind of usually pretty Eeyore about his team. Oh yeah, our first 22 are pretty good, but after that, he feels pretty good about this team, I think. So. That's a good sign, and maybe he just likes to keep the expectations low. I don't know. It's a good strategy, but he'll usually Lou Holtz you a little bit and tell you how good everybody is and how bad they are. But he seems pretty excited, so I think it should be a great game. I'm looking forward to following your coverage. You'll be mostly on Twitter, yeah. That's your medium of choice. So. You're a words guy, you're a stats guy. So follow Wes on Twitter. Make sure you keep up with that game. I'll be Instagramming primarily from the Colleton game, but I'll definitely be juggling all kinds of things. But we both got our games of the week, buddy. We got our assignments. We're ready to go out and do it tonight. And we got another guy who's over there. It looks like he's still doing some prep for his assignment. He's ready to go as well. Let's get Marcus Walsh in here from WHHI and talk about your game of the week, Marcus. You got to – oh, man, I got to fix this. I got to do it different. There we go. That's better. We're producing on the fly. But, Marcus, what's going on, buddy? You got a big game tonight as well. You get a Lowco on Lowco battle as well. All three of us luck out tonight with the 2-for-1, and we're guaranteed to get a winner. It's a great situation. You got JP2 and Thomas Hayward, and – this has been a lopsided, quote-unquote, rivalry so far, but JP2 might change that tonight.
I think they have a really good chance to, Justin. Guys, thanks for having me. I really was very impressed talking to the coaching staff and certainly Christian Tilton and everybody at Media Day. I think that, all roads in this game obviously go through the ground game and certainly the front seven on defense and the play in the trenches with the offensive lines too. You take a look at Christian Tilton last year, had a season through the air, sure, but on the ground over 1,700 yards, 1,750 to be exact, and he can do it again. And I noticed before that when we saw him at Media Day, he's gotten bigger. I mean, he's definitely filled out a little bit. And you look at some of the guys that he has to his left and right behind him in the backfield. Both teams use a lot of running backs, and we're going to see that a lot in this one as well. I really look for, big things out of the run game, but it's going to come down really to how well the front seven on defense can hold up on both sides. And then those offensive lines. But Tilton, and then Tonio Banner, as you like to call him, you guys, Tonio Touchdown. He's going to be a big factor too. And then you have the brother-on-brother matchup. Certainly, Caleb Snyder, who is now the quarterback at THA, and Daniel Snyder, who is in that defense for JP2, really highlighting that defense. So, I mean, they're just notes all over the place.
Oh, a ton of storylines in this game. We also have two new coaches, Shane Milligan with JP2 and Tony McGarrett, Thomas Hayward. So there's a lot to keep track on with this game. So, just tell me about what's, struck you the most about these two coaches coming in, Shane Milligan to JP2 and then Tony McGarrett, a former THA alum, taking over for the Rebels.
Yeah, it's really interesting, Wes, because THA has McGarry, and a lot of people will find this out during the broadcast if they don't already know. He's an alum of THA, and he played and was a heck of a running back and did a lot of really good things. I mean, Justin, you and I were talking about it just the other day too. He's done a lot of really good things within this program, is really excited about being back, and just what he's done to kind of not really change up much, but create his style, I think is going to really work. Obviously, when you lose Nick Shuford, when you lose Diedrich Shuford, those are big losses for THA overall, and their dominance is going to go down just a little bit, I think. But this team has a chance to not miss much of a beat, stay competitive in 1A, and really do good things. And then on the JP2 side, they won 4 games a year ago, and they fought hard. They played well. In terms of this, I think they're going to have a chance to really do some good things. You've got Shane, who's coming out of North Carolina at Concord High School and did some great things there. I think he's going to be just what this team needs in addition to what they already have. They have coaches top to bottom. They've got a great athletic director. I mean, both schools have great athletic staffs, but Luis Sanders, a great athletic director. Even going to what the school does, top to bottom with just the staff, it's just amazing. And the fact that we can be there and call this game, I think it has a chance to be a real nail biter. I know you guys do too. There have not been many close games in this rivalry. As a matter of fact, last year was an absolute blowout. 46-6 THA over JP2. I believe it was 2 years ago. It was a 28-18 THA win over JP2, and that's as close as it's been. Thomas Hayward is averaging about 43 points per game in this rivalry. JP2 is averaging about 12. 0-6 is JP2, 0-3 at home, 0-3 on the road. And I think that if there's any year that they have a chance to pull off, whether people want to call it an upset or a huge win at least, especially in the home opener on opening night, it's this one, and I couldn't be more thrilled for it. I am really excited for tonight. Great way to start the season on WHHI Sports TV.
Heck yeah. It should be. Oh, I'm getting a lot of feedback from somebody. Not sure who that's coming off of, but may turn down your volume a little bit. There we go. That should be a little better. But it should be a great matchup. And we all may be jumping the gun, saying JP2 is going to overtake Thomas Hayward because there was a wide gulf last year. But I do think we're probably all getting caught up in that hype a little bit because it's one of those things that we want to see things happen that haven't happened before, right? Like the novelty is great, and so we're probably talking ourselves into it, being a little bit more of a change than we may actually see. But I do expect it to be a competitive game. I think that, JP2 is confident it's going to be a competitive game. And that's half the battle when you've never beaten somebody, believing that you can. And they seem to believe they can. And, I can't even say Christian Tilton will be the best player on the field tonight because Tonio Touchdown is an absolute monster. But I think he'll be the most impactful. I think that he gets to touch it every play, no matter what. He gets to make checks at the line of scrimmage. He gets to anchor that defense. He gets to be a part of everything. And he's a dog. And he's been caged up all season or all summer, and he's ready to go play football. And but of course you can say that same for those Hayward guys, and they're going to have a chip on their shoulder because everybody's kind of overlooking them, and they're like, hey, what if we played in the state championship game like 6-7 years in a row or whatever? Like, do you maybe want to look over here? So I think it'll be interesting to see how it develops. Because I do think, even though I picked JP2, I think Hayward could come out, punch them in the face, knock them on their butt, and that's it. The fight's over, So we'll see what happens, but it should be good times.
Yeah, I think
Thomas Hayward. Sorry, Wes. Another guy, real quick, for Thomas Hayward to look out for is Cutter Williams, wide receiver.
Oh yeah,
a bunch of stuff on both sides of the ball. You guys were talking about him yesterday in the season preview show. I think that he has a chance to really make his mark on this game as well. It really could go either way, honestly. I'm just excited for this environment and just like you guys to have football back in the Low Country.
And we were talking about this earlier at the top, but just the week 0 slate as a whole. I mean, we've got a ton of local and local rivalries. We've already talked about Battery Creek, Hampton County, Colleton. Just I want to hear an overview of the slate as a whole, especially seeing this new Hampton County team take the field for the first time, and a couple more interesting matchups with Hilton Christian Academy taking on a very good Savannah Christian team, Powyn Prep BA. So, just your overall thoughts on what's a fantastic slate for week 0.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that Hampton County, Colleton County game is going to be really good. I'm excited. Obviously, we don't cover them yet, but I'm really excited to see what they do with the merger of the school and how that affects football and basketball. Last year, the Hilton Head Battery Creek game was really good, and like you guys, I had a chance to talk to BJ Payne on Media Day, and I used these words exactly. It just said, you guys seem to be the team that's just kind of laying in the weeds. Everybody's talking about Bluffton in 7-4A. Everybody's talking about May River. Everybody's talking about Beaufort in 8-3A winning the title. Everybody's just kind of looking over you guys, and BJ couldn't have been more, I don't necessarily want to say thrilled with that, but he definitely said that's how we like it, and that's what we're going to do. And he's just one of the best. A side note on BJ Payne that I certainly mentioned on Media Day, and I mentioned whenever I get a chance, he and I actually went to rival high schools. So
really?
BJ was a Massillon, Washington Tiger.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I went to Massillon Perry, and we're about 15 years apart in age. But every time I see him, I have to, do a little salute to him in the 330 because it's where we grew up, and it's a great place to grow up. He went to Mount Union and played college football there. Certainly had his days wrestling and whatnot as well. And he's just a great person to talk to. I love chatting ball with him and a lot of these other guys too, of course. I think Ridgeland has a chance to do some really good things coming off that one win last year. I'm not going to give any spoilers away as far as what we're going to see down the line. I don't want to do that just yet, but I know, and I can tell you, we will see Hilton Head Prep a couple of times. I was just at practice on Tuesday, and I had a chance to talk to Coach Dustin Etheridge. I did not have a chance to talk to him during Media Day. I was at practice for about 45 minutes to an hour before the rain started, and I was really impressed with the way they were getting after it with some blocking assignments, some tackling, some passes from Wyatt Armour, crisp. They were really doing a nice job. And I think this is going to be a big year for Hilton Head Prep. I think they're going to take a big step forward. Hopefully they can win, maybe 2-3 games. They may even surprise and win more. You just never know. I agree with what you guys said last night and listening to the show too, that they're going to have to get some wins early in the year. Yep. They're going to have to win, 2 or 3 early in the season to even have a chance. I'm really high on Beaufort Academy. I think they have a chance to be outstanding and certainly get past what they did last year and certainly win the thing this year. In terms of SCISA and the high school league, there are 6 teams that I have my eye on most, and I'm going to see all 6. I'll start off in the high school league. I'm really, really high again on Beaufort, of course. Coach Lybrand, tremendous. Brings a lot of guys back. There are some that are new, but has a lot of guys coming back. Bluffton, I mean, Justin, you and I were there when Hayden Gregory got the job, and I was sold on him the moment I spoke to him. Mm-hmm. I think what he's doing at Bluffton is absolutely phenomenal. I think they have a chance to be really good. And then, like I mentioned, Hilton Head. I think Hilton Head has a chance to just come out of not necessarily nowhere, but they have a chance to really surprise people. And then in SCISA, I'm really high on JP2 this year. I think they have a chance to surpass their 4-win total that they had a year ago and do some really good things. look at Hilton Head Christian Academy. They're awfully good as well. They've a little bit of a transitional period, but they've got a chance to be really good. In Skiza, for me, the team to watch out for, matter of fact, both will be in Beaufort. Beaufort Academy and the Beaufort Eagles are the two teams that I think have the chance to make serious runs in the playoffs, and maybe both of them can bring home a trophy. You never know.
The Isle of Ladies, man. It's they're growing football players over on the Isle of Ladies. It's special.
Absolute beast.
It's Football Island over there. But well, hey Marcus, we appreciate you jumping on with this, man. And you gonna hop on with us tonight and break it down?
Certainly, if the voice holds up, and I'm hoping that it does. You never know what you're going to see on a Friday night, especially with me calling a game.
That's right.
And whatnot. I certainly plan to break it down and talk what we see tonight. Should be great. JP2 hosting THA.
Yeah, man. And remind us again, when can people watch it on WHHI?
We will start airing 4 to 7 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. And then I believe we've got airings then every day after that, starting at midnight. And we've got our full sports package. So you'll get to see a lot of them. Hit the record button if you're asleep. You'll get to see a lot of different airings in the late evening into the early morning hours when it's still dark. And then I don't know if we're doing like a 7 o'clock or 7:30 time on Tuesday. We've done that in the past. I'll check back with you on that and get back to you. But plenty of chances to see high school football from tonight throughout the entire season. And we're going to have a lot of great games for you on WHHI Sports TV. Daniel Court, Larry Jacomot, Kevin Libby, Jessa Jeremiah, myself, a smattering of others on the production side, led by Maria Soden and Jeremy Pope.
I was going to say, you better not leave Jeremy and Maria out of that, because they are, man, we couldn't live without them. And you said you don't cover Colleton or Hampton yet, but that's not quite true. WHHI does, because we do. Last night in the Lowco, we got them covered every day. So all four counties, tune into WHHI wherever you can get it, and we'll keep you up to speed. But thanks a lot, buddy. We'll see you tonight.
Sounds good.
All right, Wes, great to talk with Marcus, and he's awesome, and love listening to his voice on the games as well. So always nice to know that we can go out to one game and catch up on another one later, because we can catch the replay on WHHI. So going to be a great night tonight with those 3 Lowco on Lowco battles. All of this is possible because of our MVP sponsors. All of our sponsors, but we'll start with the MVPs. We'll talk about them up top. Mickelson Law Firm, the original sponsor of Lowco Sports, still going strong. 6.5 years later, we're still going. So many thanks to the Mickelsons, Ryan and Tiffany, just awesome community leaders and people. They're very supportive of everything in our community, including, Bluffton Youth Sports. Another thing I'm a big part of. Hilton Head Christian Academy Athletics. They're out there helping, where they see good things, they support, and they're going to support you as well with all your legal needs at Mickelson Law Firm. Official real estate attorneys of Lowco Sports, and you can use them to close your deal when you buy a house with the official realtor of Lowco Sports. That's my wife, Megan Jarrett from the Pierce Group. She's been our biggest supporter, Wes. She gave us the thumbs up back in 2017 to give this thing a go, and now she is on her own journey. She's taken her own big step and selling real estate here in the Lowco. She'd love to help you find your starter home or your forever home, and she's going to work harder for you than anybody I know. Just make sure that she looks out for you and make sure that you're making a good investment for your life and your family. She's the official realtor of Lowco Sports, Megan Jarrett, and the queen bee of the Lowco Hive. And we also have Hospice Care, the Low Country, back for another year. Just a terrific organization, also providing palliative care now. So, they always say that it's not about dying, it's about living at Hospice Care. And that's more true than ever now, because they're helping with palliative care. If you have, ongoing chronic issues where you need in-home care or services, Hospice Care, the Low Country, and palliative care, the Low Country, can take care of that. Just an incredible caring team over there who really, goes all out to make sure that you get the best out of what you've got left in this life. And finally, last MVP sponsor for now. We're always taking new ones. Homegrown Home Inspections. Jan Lucas, one of my best friends. Our daughters are great friends, and we've become great friends. And I can't say enough about his professionalism, his work ethic, and his attention to detail. But more importantly, he cares about his clients, and he really wants to make sure that, just like I said with Megan, that they're making a good investment. He has this saying about he would rather share an inconvenient truth than a lie that's going to come back to haunt you down the road. So he's going to be your eyes and ears throughout the home buying process, or especially the home building process. If you're doing a new build, his phase inspections are the way to go to make sure that everything's getting done the right way before it's too late to get it fixed. So those are our MVP sponsors so far this season, Wes, and you can become an MVP sponsor by emailing us at lowcosports@gmail.com, LOWCO sports@gmail.com. to get started today. Thanks so much to our sponsors, Wes. And we've got a few more home games we want to talk about. If you're looking to get out to a game, we already told you about 3 big Lowco on Lowco battles coming up tonight. But we've got 4 more on the home slate, on the home front. We got Patrick Henry at Cross, Savannah Christian at Hilton Head Christian Academy, Pinewood Prep at Beaufort Academy, and Bethesda at Hilton Head Prep. Let's start with that Hilton Head Prep game because that's the Sea Pine special, the matinee. They had to push it back a little, 5:30, a little too hot for that 5 o'clock start. So they're going to be fighting against the clock to get it in before the sun goes down. But, I think that they should be able to get it in. I think both teams will run the ball a good bit, so that should keep the clock rolling. But we both made the homer pick, Wes. We both went with Prep, maybe a little wishful thinking, a little hopeful, but this was a really tight game last year, 1-point game. And I feel like Prep, you hear this from everybody, but I've seen it on social media and stuff that there's a buy-in there to the weight room, to the off-season training that, they got a late start. Etheridge got a late start last year, and they didn't really get a lot of that stuff installed. And I feel like this is going to be different. I feel like they are starting the season, higher on the learning curve than they were a year ago, certainly. And I feel like they're going to come out ready to play. And that Sea Pine son is the 12th man. So I like their chances tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be blazing hot there against the Bethesda Academy Blazers. But Dustin Etheridge, this last year, when you look at it as a whole, it's tough to come in and with a group that just didn't have much time to get to where he needed to be in that process. Now having a full off season, a full summer to instill more of that kind of mentality that he wants to see with this team, and employ new sets, employ new looks. And now you get that full year to recharge, refresh, and get to that next level. This is a huge game. When you look at the schedule as a whole, this Hilton Head Prep team is going to have a gauntlet of challenging Ski's opponents. This might be one of their best shots of securing that first victory. So I'm sure they know how big this one is because you're at home under the Sea Pine sun. You get that emotionally charged energy of playing that first home game. I really think this team's going to reset. Find a way to play their game early, which would be huge to grab that lead, have success in the ground. But they see some strong play and good decisions from Wyatt Harmer because he could definitely throw it. We've seen some highlights from last year. He's got a quality arm, and of course AJ Barger. He can go out there and get it with his dynamic speed out there. So if that connection can get going, that offense could find a way to take a few shots and look to put up some scores. But I think you establish it with a run game, and then you go play action, or you look to see if you can hit one deep with Barger. But we'll see what happens with Hilton Head Prep. I think there's going to be a lot of energy in this game. Bethesda, certainly not an easy team or an easy matchup in any sense. The Blazers have always had some quality talent over there in Georgia. So I think Hilton Head Prep, I think the offensive line is going to be a big part of it as well. They've got a lot of veterans. Danny Fernandez named one, but a lot of these guys have bought into the weight room, as you said. If we can get some good production on the line, get that run game going, and open up some looks to throw the ball downfield, I think Hilton Head Prep can establish a lot on offense, and then it all comes down to making tackles and playing good fundamental defense. But I think this should be a very tight game. I think Hilton Head Prep with the newfound energy of this new season, with the emotion of playing at home, and it just the guts they're going to show to get that first win, I think they get it done in the close one.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I picked. I picked Prep by one. Turnabout is fair play. They lost by one last year, so I'm predicting Dustin Etheridge goes for two in the win at the end. Because he got to get that dub. He wants that dub, man. He is hungry. He's too good of a football coach to not have a win yet as a head coach. I mean, everybody you talk to just talks about what a great football coach this guy is, and at the end of the day, you got what you got as far as personnel in high school football, and he didn't have a lot to work with last year, and those guys, they battled, man. They were in a lot of games, and I think that's gonna, I think that created that hunger to say, Coach, what do we got to do to win these things, man? And they got after it this summer, so I think they've got a good shot to get that dub tonight, and I think if they do, then they might win the next one, and possibly the one after that, and it gets tougher every week for them, but I think this is set up for them to start off on a good note. But let's get to this other Lowco on Lowco matchup because we got Patrick Henry at Cross, but Bluffton Middle School at 6 p.m. So we got another early evening affair. It should be nice and hot, but I don't think this one will take too long, because I think Patrick Henry is going to be able to pound it on the ground and dabble in the pass a little bit and control this one pretty easily. I got a little trouble. You talked about Cross more than you talked about Patrick Henry on the preseason show, which I would say to that, we had some stuff to say about Cross going into the season. And in fairness to them, we're probably not going to talk about them a ton over the course of the season, because they're probably going to, take their lumps a little bit, and that's okay. They're starting their program. But we're proud of those kids for getting out there and being trailblazers and getting that thing going. And we are going to talk about Patrick Henry a lot this season, I promise, because a major factor in season one. So here's your chance, Wes. Talk more about Patrick Henry.
Yeah, I just love the culture over there at PHA. I get to follow this team, especially when you go back to that magical baseball season where I left the game early. They were down a bunch of runs, and they came back. So they probably think I'm bad luck if I go back to a football game. But I'm really excited for what this football season is gonna entail, because you got Hugh Ferry coming back, Forrest Ferry, dynamic duo over there. And then Michael Tucker Mathis, who, stepped in at some important spots throughout last season. He's an impact player everywhere on the field. So then they're bringing up some new guys, some transfers who are going to, make some various impacts across the field. So I'm excited for this PHA team. I thought they were really close to knocking off Thomas Hayward, competing for a 1A state title. I think they're a great sleeper pick this year with the talent they're returning, so the talent they're adding on, and just the hunger that team and that group possesses. The culture, championship culture, it spreads through different sports. I think Patrick Henry is going to take the momentum of what they did in the spring, because a lot of guys are on that baseball team. They know how to win. They know they're never out of the game, and that stuff kind of translates. So I think they roll this one over Cross, but I think that for this Cross team, they got to play with pride. They got to continue to fight, and we're proud of all of them. Just as you mentioned, trailblazers. But I think Patrick Henry is the real deal in 1A. I think they have a great shot at doing something special this year. Hugh Ferry and Forrest Ferry, I really love watching them play, and hopefully I can make it out to a game this year, and maybe not.
Maybe not tonight at 6 o'clock at Bluffton Middle. That's not the one. No, Hayward's that's the move.
No. It was just it was the baseball joke from last spring.
Oh, I got you. And maybe not leave early. Yeah. Maybe stay to the end. I got you. If you go to the Hayward game, that would be a good one to go to, and you should definitely stay to the end, because that one's going to be a good one. Yeah. And the winner will be probably the region champ. But yeah, no disrespect to Cross. Those guys are going to be a force to be reckoned with at some point. I mean, it's that school's coming up, and you're going to find out in basketball season. They've been competing in, cross country. They won a state championship and were runner up in the boys. Their girls basketball team is going to be very good this year. You're going to find out their boys are going to be on the come up. They got a legit coach and a really legit assistant coach, Matthew Fisher Davis from Vanderbilt. Like they got a coaching staff over there. Doc Archibald, the head coach, played for Billy Gillespie at Ranger College. So it's going to be fun to see what happens with that basketball program. And I think that will kind of spark the football, because you just start getting more athletes in there, more of a profile as a school that's got competitive teams. It starts to grow. So, but Patrick Henry definitely going to be a fun team to cover this year, and hopefully we'll get our guy Jeff Strickland on here a little bit to talk about him with us. He is a fountain of knowledge, not just about Patrick Henry, but about skis of football in general. So we definitely got to get him on here. But another game here in Bluffton tonight, Savannah Christian coming over to Hilton Head Christian. This one, absolute mismatch last year. I don't think it's that kind of mismatch this year, but Savannah Christian is a legitimate power football team. You're talking about Elijah Griffin, who's the #1 recruit in next year's class, defensive end, absolute monster. You got the David Boosie, the linebacker who's committed to Carolina, so people want to see him. You got Keith Brookings' son, Logan, the tight end. He's got offers from a bunch of places, including Clemson. So, I mean, you got D1 talent all over the place. And, I think HHCA kind of embraces that because they got a little chip on their shoulder like, Ron Parduzzi, he doesn't take kindly to being told they can't play with somebody. So, he's going to use that as a motivating tool and has been telling them, hey, everybody's talking about these guys coming to play. Go watch these guys play. They better come play us over here. So, Hilton Head Christian, they got some juice too. And Tyshawn Mansell is an X factor that you throw in the mix there that you weren't sure about going into the season that now kind of that changes the dynamic a little bit. That offense is pretty explosive.
And I'm excited to see is Dylan Clark. I was really impressed by how we quickly learned the offense and produced. Now having a full offseason summer to get ready, I'm excited. I think he has a lot of upside going into this year for what he could do to power this Hilton Head Christian Academy offense. Tyshawn Mansell bringing in another dynamic weapon from Thomas Hayward, and you still have Gage Zanaloka, veteran, back over there. And Isaiah Anderson, who can go up and get it. Got some nice height over there.
And AJ Haupt. AJ Haupt's a nice little guy in the slot, too. He's slippery and quick.
Yeah, so, I mean, the offense is certainly strong on paper for what we're seeing, and that really, I'm excited to see if Dylan Clark can take another step up with his game, but the work will be cut out for him tonight because you got Elijah Griffin staring right back at you, top recruit in the country for the class of 2025. You got David Bucci, as you mentioned, at linebacker. So there are a lot of scary dudes on the other end. So it's looking like a mismatch on the line of scrimmage, and obviously a lot of good improvisation and magic from Dylan Clark and the rest of that Hilton Head Christian Academy offense. If they want to, keep up with Savannah Christian, hopefully this hungry Hilton Head Christian Academy defense has something to say about it, because that's a group that does bring back a couple of veterans from these last years, these state championship teams from especially 2021. So I don't think the Christian Academy is going to back down, but I do think Savannah Christian is a better team by a sizable amount, but do not doubt the ability of Hilton Head Christian Academy to fight and stay in a game like this if they can keep it close into the midpoint of the game.
Yep, that's the key. You got to keep it close early. You got to weather the storm, start to build a little confidence, and let your kids see that, hey, we can play with them. And then you got a shot. But you can't get steamrolled early. If you go 3 and out and they march, and then you go 3 and out and they march, time stuck in the fence, and that usually go well for you. So that's the way it goes. When you're overmatched, you got to hang early. That's the key. It should be a good match over on the Isle of Ladies, though. Pinewood Prep at Beaufort Academy. I think this is real good, but I think these are two teams that have a great shot to play at Charleston Southern again after they did it on Saturday. Pinewood was one of the more electric offenses in 3A last year. The defense was kind of Swiss cheese, but they got Devontae Holloman in there as AD. He brought in his guy as coach. I believe Holloman may be calling the defense. I've seen him with the headset on in photos on the sideline, so he might be calling the defense. They got some dudes from other schools around Charleston, so they're going to be fun. And we saw BA and what they can be on Saturday night. So I think this is a really dead even matchup that's going to come down to a couple plays here or there. Who misses an assignment on a big play?
Yeah, this might be underrated. The best game of the week. It could come right down to the wire with these two teams. Beaufort Academy passed the first test with flying colors against Trinity Collegiate. This one is going to be another tough one, though. Pinewood Prep has an electric offense, but I'm a little excited to see what they do against Devontae Holloman, because he has been a major factor throughout the story of Lowco football these last few years. And you look
it just keeps coming back into it, doesn't he?
Yeah. Of course, South Point last 2 years ago, Beaufort, and then before that he coached Beaufort. So finds a way to make himself back to get himself back to Ladies Island. So I'm excited for that one. But BA, they're going to have to do a little bit more defensively. Pinewood Prep brings a lot more elements to the offensive game plan. They were firing on all cylinders in that jamboree that we saw right before BA played their opener week, -1 last week in Charleston. So it's going to be kind of a different challenge for Nick Shuford. Going to have to be a little bit more disciplined, more crisp on defense. But I think if the offense can execute the way it did, I think you're going to be able to put up some points and stay in this fight. And it just comes down to a couple plays at the end, who gets the ball at the key spot and who makes the play and who doesn't. So I expect this one to go, down the stretch, right neck and neck. So I do think BA gets it done at home, but wouldn't be shocking to see Devontae Holloman spoil one Lee's ounce there.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one over there. I look forward to following along. Hopefully my guy Howell's on top of it with his Instagram posts, so I can keep up with what's going on. And if you're going to be at the BA game tonight and you want to jump on with us tonight and talk about it, holler at me. We'll get you on here sometime between 11 and 12, and you can give us a recap of the BA Pinewood Prep game. But that's all the games we got in our backyard tonight. We got some on the road that we'll talk about in a minute, Wes, but want to shout out a couple more sponsors, our varsity level sponsors, including the Parker Law Group, new to our sponsorship roster this year. Our friends at Parker Law Group have been serving folks out in Hampton, Colleton, and Jasper counties with their legal needs for decades now, and they would love to do the same for you. We appreciate their support of BA football coverage, as well as their overall support of Lowco Sports, allowing us to continue to expand our coverage area into those areas where they serve and shine a light on more deserving teams and student athletes around the Lowco, including those Hampton County Hurricanes, Colleton County Cougars I'm going to see tonight. Can't wait to see it. And then we also have DDS Web Design back for another year as a varsity level sponsor. We're all online all the time. We're online right now. We're online always. Like you're just watching us sit online and talk all the time. But some businesses don't even have a website, or they have one that's ancient and doesn't do the work that they need it to do, not getting those clicks, not generating new business. But DDS Web Design can make sure that your website is up and running and has the best search engine optimization tools installed so that you get found online and generate business from that website. It's one of your biggest assets in this new day and age. And Dave and Denise and the team at DDS love working with small businesses and nonprofits to help them do more and think bigger. They even helped our friends over at Hospice Care of the Lowcountry revamp their website. They're getting great results. So check them out at ddshhi.com and tell them Lowco sent you. And Wes, Lowco sending people out to games all over the place tonight. We got a few more on the road that we'll tell you about here, including those defending state champion Beaufort Eagles. We've been leading every show with them, but they got buried because they're starting on the road at Gameday. And I think this is a great test for them. I think Bryce Labman likes to play a game he's got a chance to lose to open the game, to open the season. He wants his guys to know that they gotta get with it going into the season if they're going to be 1-0. And he also wants to get tested and see how they can get better so they can be 2-0. So I think this is a game they can lose. I don't think it's a game they're going to lose because I think they're going to be well prepared. And I think we're going to get to see some new stars emerge tonight for Beaufort.
Yeah, and what I've learned about a Bryce Labyrinth coach team is they're prepared to give their best shot and just do all the little things, the fundamental things well. And he also loves to make it difficult, to put some tough games on the schedule, especially early. And Gameday is not going to be easy, especially going on the road to the Cobras. And that Gameday squad sneakily really good last year, and Langston Rhodes coming back very, very strong on the ground. It's going to be a big test for Samori Bonds, who he does in a hostile environment like this with a new setup. You don't have your guys from last year and Fields and Ferris. So what can he do under center? Can he make the right reads? Can he continue to show off what he does so well on the ground? And, as you mentioned, we're going to see some new faces, see how they blend in. Obviously, Amari Patterson is one of those guys who, certainly sparks a lot of excitement in their fans and some of us. But, I'm excited to see how everyone molds together and how Bryce Labyrinth makes those adjustments on the fly to compare it to what he sees at the beginning of the game, and then you compare that to what he does near the end in the second half. He's a fantastic coach, and he loves to get. I mean, you talk about how those challenging games paid off the last 2 years. They swept a bunch of Georgia schools in 21 before making the state championship game, and then they played some tough teams as well last year before winning it all. So, this is a great opener. It's a tough opener for Beaufort, and it's always get some energy within you, especially. And since you're state champions, you got the target on your back. Everybody's going to go for. Everybody's going for you. Everybody wants to take you down. So you're going to have to be on your best every week.
It doesn't matter what classification you want it in either. You're 5A and you're playing the 3A state champs. It doesn't matter. All you got to do is tell these guys, hey, these guys won a state championship last year, and they're ready to go. And so Gameday is going to give them their best shot, no question about it. That'll be a well-coached team as well. They were kind of like Beaufort last year in that they were in a lot of competitive games at times, but they found a way to pull them out. So, I think one thing that Labyrinth and his coaching staff do so well, probably better than anyone around here at least, is respond to adversity and adjust. And, I think that gives you a big edge in week Zeeruh, because there's going to be some adversity. There's going to be some things you didn't anticipate. You're going to have to adjust, and you're going to have to do it on the fly. So, I think that gives them a leg up here. I think Beaufort gets off to a good start, but it's a great test for them to start out. And let's go on to that Bluffton game, Bluffton at Beach, and we'll have by the way, Beaufort game will be streamed live on Beaufort's own. So look forward to being able to pull that one up and check in on it from time to time. Love what those guys are doing, and we'll have to see if we can get Javon on here very soon to talk Beaufort football. We'll get him on next week's episode preview. He'll probably be packing up and driving home by the time when we're talking tonight, but we'll get him on real soon. Great work he does over there. So let's talk about that Bluffton Beach game. We're going to have Brady Sacha over there. I gave him the keys to the Instagram. So he's going to be hitting the reels hard with Bluffton coverage, and I know he's excited about these Bobcats. He's been sending me stuff all preseason, hyping me up about new threads and everything else I don't care about. I just want to watch football, and we get to play football tonight and get to see this Hayden Gregory team with Owen Bays at the helm, playing the role of Maximon Hohen Stratton. We've also recast Jalen Linder as Carnell Warren. Brandon Bryant still playing the role of Brandon Bryant. Eaton Golphin is playing the role of Roderick Buxton. So we got a new cast, but I think it's going to be the same show over at B-Town, and still got the star Jeremiah Curry on defense. So I think they roll pretty easily tonight. This is more just about kind of getting the rhythm and starting to, get the juices flowing.
Yeah, and Hayden Gregory is going to do that in a big way, I think, in this first game. He knows what this first contest means to this group to get 1-0, to go underway this season on a winning note. And Bluffton, certainly, it's a matter of reloading. I think they reloaded well with bringing Owen Bays, and then with some of these guys coming up like Carnell Warren, like Ethan Golphin, who from the small amount of runs he was able to produce last year, he was really efficient and effective out there on the ground. So he's going to be a name to watch out for. I think Carnell Warren, he's looking like a I'm not going to say he's going to be the Jalen Linder or as explosive as Jalen Linder was, but maybe he'll surprise me to get to that level. But either way, he's going to be an important player out wide, and he's definitely gotten that chemistry hooked up now with Owen Bayes. And for Bayes, it's a great opportunity to make a new kind of obviously a new start here in Bluffton after his time over at Hilton Head, but kind of a chance to reignite him as a strong quarterback here in the Lowco, because certainly it went up and down a little for him at Hilton Head, but the opportunity that presents himself now to be not just a game manager but a playmaker here at Bluffton. This is a big test to see if he's gonna hit the ground running and put up a strong outing in his first game of the season. So I think it's a big opportunity for Owen Bayes, and this Bluffton team is coached so well. Hayden Gregory is going to have his team prepared, and then one of the best players on the field, if not the best player on the field this game, Jeremiah Curry, absolute beast at linebacker, and he kind of sets the tone for how everything goes on defense. And as he goes, this defense is going to go against this Beach team, and I think that's kind of where Bluffton can really make their edge in this game is with sound fundamental play on defense and that physicality that Curry and the rest of that team presents. So I think that side of the ball could be really important, and then if we can see some strong execution on offense from Owen Bayes, he takes what the defense gives him, makes good reads, uses his legs. I think Bluffton should come out strong here and roll on the road.
Yeah, Curry apparently going to get some carries too, which is exciting. I love the idea of like a one-back set with, Golphin and Bryant and Warren and all these guys split out wide, and then you got Jeremiah Curry, running the draw up the middle. Woo! That could be nice. That could be really nice, and I love it for Owen Bayes. I love it for him and Jackson Bybee. This is best case scenario.
Yeah.
Both of them seniors. Both of them get to be the guy and lead the show. And there's
for that bridge ball.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's going to be fantastic. But it's a great thing for both. They both get a chance to show what they can do and let their play talk. And I think it was handled as well as it could have been at Hilton Head, as far as they were pretty even players, and they were complimentary. So I thought BJ handled it well, letting them both get their reps, and now they both get a chance to be the guy. So should be cool. A couple more games to talk about. Colleton Prep at Florence Christian. This was kind of a eye-opener last year with Colleton Prep beating Florence Christian. I think it's a really even matchup again this year, but neither team, I think, is on the level they were last year, where they both played for state titles. Florence Christian still has one Huntley brother back, but not the other. So one Huntley is easier to deal with than two. And Colleton Prep has, the totally revamped offensive line that has been really good at times in the preseason and struggled at others. So we'll see what we get tonight. I think it's an even matchup. I think we both went Warhawks. Yeah. I just think Cole Davis will be the best player on the field.
Cole Davis is going to make the big play late. I have the trust in him with football in his hands. I think we had our discussion at the beginning of the season. A guy who wants to one of your quarterbacks who you most like to lead you into a state championship game. I think Cole Davis has that clutch factor, that ability to make big plays. Like we saw that last year. Orchestrating a big drive, a couple go-ahead drives in the playoffs. He just has that it factor to get at big moments, and I really like Cole Davis leader and as a winner on that Colleton Prep team. So he really sets the tone. It's going to be a big factor, especially with a new revamped offensive line that has been a little up and down so far, but still they've been working hard, and still a lot of potential with those guys, and seeing how they grow throughout the season. But going to have to see Cole Davis make some plays. And then defensively, you still got Jules Huntley to worry about, but Jewel is gone. That Florence Christian team was really fun to watch last year, and both these teams lost the state championship game. Florence Christian to PD Academy and Colleton Prep to Williamsburg. So certainly some tough memories to end the season, but still two very good football teams, and I think this one should go down to the wire on opening night.
Yeah, we got a bunch of really even matchups, and then and another one that I think is poised to be pretty competitive is Ridgeland at St. John's, the last game on our slate. And I think we both took the Jags in this one too. And that may be another one. We're hot, Battery Creek, Hillnet Prep, Ridgeland. We really want them to turn the corner this year. We know they're capable of it. So we go into the season a little, rose-colored glasses. We'll find out in the next couple of weeks how optimistic or unrightfully optimistic we may be. But I do think the Jags, skill position wise, they're really talented. And Maurice Brown has been in that position for a couple of years now. He's a veteran leader. They're athletically, speed wise, they're going to have an edge tonight, straight up. Like St. John's is going to be a little bit more of a plodding, traditional team, and Ridgeland is going to be an electric, dynamic team. And so I think as long as they don't shoot themselves in the foot, remember they played Estill, a really close game to open the season last year. And we didn't think that much of it because Estill had been, kind of down for the last few years. And then Estill ends up having a great season. And you look back on it and go, dang, they played them tough. They played Battery Creek tough. Like they were close to getting some wins early. So I think Ridgeland breaks through tonight. I hope so. And I think they could be, with all these teams that we're talking about in this context, we say they could have a good year this year. 3 or 4 wins is a good year when you only won 1 last year. Okay, so we're not saying they're going to compete for a state championship or anything. We're just saying they could make a step this year in the direction.
But in context, a good year is different from each program. From
Beaufort,
obviously different expectations than a team like Ridgeland. But for this Jaguar team with Rodney Barr coming back, who's a great coach, by the way. Look, we had Laura Richland, and now a big year 3 for him at the school, and this is a big opportunity to get that first win, go 1-0, which is always so energizing for the players and the fans. And the St. John's team is certainly beatable. Just 2-9 season for the Islanders. Jags with some firepower: Maurice Brown, Winston Smith, Xavier Plowdnitz. So the list goes on for guys who can be impactful for this Ridgeland team. And as you said, they're multidimensional. They can do a couple different things. And I really like the high upside of Maurice Brown leading this offense. So you got Wesley Jones and Jaquid Johnson as well. So a lot of important dynamic skill players for this Ridgeland team. And I think the defense does the job, and that the offense, refrains from, as you mentioned, some turnovers and negative plays. Put yourself in a good spot continuously throughout this game. I think Rodney Barr's crew get it done here, and start off with the season opening win. So you mentioned how tough they played against a couple of these teams last year. I like the way the culture's been established by Barr, and I think they can push for a couple of 2, 3, 4 wins this year. But it all starts with getting this first one here in week 0.
Yeah, I think winning the first one for a team that's trying to turn the corner is almost worth 2 or 3 wins.
Yep.
I mean, it just you got guys that are on the fence that haven't come out yet, and it's the second week of school or whatever, and they come to school on Monday and everybody's showering the football players with praise because they got a win on Friday night. They might find their way to practice that afternoon. They're a lot more likely than they are if you get embarrassed on opening night. So it just like Coach. Who was it who told us football season sets the tone? Was that who was it who told us that? Coach Glaze? Coach Glaze who said that? Football season sets the tone. I mean, it really starts everything, and everything flows from there. And opening night sets the tone for football season. So you want to go out and play a good game and establish yourself as a team that's going to need to be reckoned with. And you got to convince yourself of it as much as anybody else. So it's go time now. It's put up or shut up time. We get to get after it tonight. So let's get out of here. But let's shout out a few more sponsors before we do. Our Lowco Booster Club members, Prime IV Hydration and Wellness, now open in Beaufort Town Village. Just saw my guy Max today. There's some sickness going around, some nasty stuff. He can load up your IV drip with all those. The vitamin C and all the minerals and all those things that will zinc, I guess. I don't know what all they put in there, but fight off all the illness and get you feeling good and avoiding sickness as we go back to school and all the kids pass everything around. They're open over in Belfair Town Village. So go over to Prime IV hydration and wellness, sitting in that massaging chair and get your drip. And then go over to Rooted Living Wellness and see my guy Ambrose, and he'll get you cracked up. If you go into the chiropractor and they're only spending a minute or two with you, Ambrose will spend much more than that, get to know your body and what's going on with it, and start to try to get you straightened out, give you some strategies to feel better and get your body feeling the way it should at Rooted Living Wellness. And Barefoot Floor Care, the Low Country, they'll get your floors looking and feeling right. If they're sticky or dirty, no matter what surface you have in your homes, wood, tile, vinyl, they can get it clean. They can also take care of the carpet and the upholstery. And Chris Odom knows more about getting that stuff clean than anybody I know. So give him a call at Barefoot Floor Care of the Low Country. And finally, Eagle Creations, full service promotional products and custom gift baskets located right over on Argent Boulevard. They can also hook you up with that emergency jersey or hat for your travel team or whatever you need. And they've got those proudly Southern custom gift baskets with just regional goods that they find around South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, and North Carolina. So go see Mandy and Bill at Eagle Creations. And a couple more sponsors to shout out for the football shows. May River Custom Homes jumping on to support our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. And Court Lifestyle Pros. Marcus Walsh gave Daniel Court a shout out earlier. He'll be on the broadcast for WHHI. And he just signed up to be a sponsor this morning. So thanks to the Court Lifestyle Pros for supporting us as well. So that's it, Wes. It is time to put the hay in the barn and take a little nap and get ready for kickoff. We're going to have a great night tonight. Follow Wes on Twitter as well as Lowco Sports. We'll be retweeting whatever we see come across there. Make sure you follow Lowco Sports on Instagram. Brady Satchet and I will both be out there doing the Instagram thing, and anybody else we can sign up. So if you want to get that sideline pass, all you got to do is make some reels for me, and we'll hook it up. We'll make that call. We'll get you down there, and you just behave yourselves, and it'll be a every week thing. So, Wes, how excited are you, man? It's Christmas Day.
It really is. This is what you look forward to all summer. Full slate of high school football action, and I'm so pumped to drive all over to across the Lowco. But tonight it's go time over at Battery Creek, and this is a fantastic opener that I think should be very competitive between the two teams that are motivated to kick things off. What a fantastic slate we have tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's about as good as it gets, man. I wish May River and Whale Branch were playing. That's the only thing I can say is we don't get to see everybody. Right. That's the only bummer. But that's all right. Well, all in due time. So we'll see them next week. But should be a great night. Make sure you follow us on all the social media. Make sure you support those sponsors who support us, because really, I would have had to quit doing this a long time ago without them helping us keep things going. And we want to keep growing. So let's get more sponsors in here so we can shine a light on all these teams and athletes repping the Lowco out there. And we'll see you out there on the sidelines, out at the stadiums tonight. It is Friday night in the Lowco. We'll see you at 11 o'clock. Lowco Pigskin Live to round it all up. Don't miss it.